I am so excited for this review video. I have purposely recording this a few days later than I usually do, just to give myself some clarity of mind and get over the emotions of what was Ahsoka Episode 4. G'day there, my name is Hannah and I'm going to give you my full review of this episode. Episode being almost the midpoint of the season, it started off really strong and it just went, didn't it? Starting off with the scene where Huyang Jules, the HK droid, was awesome. It gave me very reminiscent vibes of that Clone Wars episode, Jewel of the Droids, where R2 fights Goldie, that like astromech. Very much that vibe. Did anyone get that? I had to get that from my chest. But from this scene, it's just going. It's just full on. We get a great little insight into some more New Republic conversation. Hera is going against protocol, being that rebel she is, and off to find her friends of Ahsoka and Sabine. Really love this. Could see it coming, but it was just a great little insight. Also, the musical cues in here and the New Republic sound is just phenomenal. I think Kevin Kiner has done an incredible job just every second of this show so far. The sequence of events that follow is just scene after scene of really interesting, either action-packed or really interesting dialogue, which most of these things go hand in hand as well. I love that Huyang really sent Sabine and Ahsoka off with that sentiment of needing to stay together. I think he just highlighted the fact at the end of the episode that they're not together and how bad that might be. I love when they ran into Shin and Marek in the forest. You could feel the intensity of that scene. It was really, really interesting. Both the choreography and the combat of both of those duels were perfect. They weren't just stock standard hitting swords together. They were really interesting. They had their own quirks. Each character had their own style and their own way of holding themselves, especially Ahsoka. Her style is so iconic and we've seen that quite a lot, but I think they got that really well done in this show. All through these scenes, even up until this point, I really have to give credit to Rosario Dawson. She is so clearly has done her homework on Ahsoka Tano. Like her facial expressions and body posture and just movement with her shoulders, how she walks is immaculate. I really can't fault it all that much. If I was to copy and paste Ahsoka from animation to live action, this would be it. I just think I can't even understand or comprehend the argument that it's not good enough or it's not close enough. She has got the smirk, the eyebrow raise, every movement of Ahsoka down, and that is the incredible testament to Rosario's commitment to this character. It was really amazing to see Sabine in her armor again as well. I really loved that, but it was kind of sad when her helmet got knocked off, and I don't think anyone picked it up. Like, is that just left in the forest? That makes me think maybe in next episode, maybe that's how they know Sabine's gone. Maybe Huyang or even Hera goes to Cetos and finds Sabine's helmet. I think that's gonna be a bit of a plot point there. Then we run straight into Ahsoka running off after she beats Marek. Vroomp, he's gone. He's nothing but sand. And you've probably seen all the explanations. I don't really have to harp on it too much, but being held together by Night Sister magic. I love this fact. I think the idea of I've got to call him, I keep calling him Morgan Elsbeth being a Night Sister is so fascinating, and I hope that is unpacked a little bit more, or we find out a little bit more of her history, because that is such an interesting fact. I wonder if she was the one to conjure Marek's presence, existence, and who was Marek? Was he a Night Brother beforehand? I would really love that to get unpacked, because I think we're not finding that out just for the sake of mystery and interest. Then we're up to the section where Ahsoka runs to the I think they called it Henge, the Henge. Run to the Henge where she finds Baylan, and herein lies this perfect, just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just like this perfect dialogue and perfect combat that fits so well together. They say such important, powerful things, but just as their words are powerful, their movements are powerful. This duel is really intense. Baylan has such a fantastic lightsaber style and form, and it just goes so well with the tone of what this scene is doing. I'm still kind of building my perspective on what Baylan's point or goal or purpose is. I actually think he's a lot more manipulative than we think he is. He knows to spin Anakin on Ahsoka. He knows that's going to hit. And, it's shown in the dialogue. He's like, everyone knew Anakin. And he really played on the fact that she abandoned him. He failed. She failed. He really played on that fact. And, that really did get under Ahsoka's skin. She was quite calm about it, but it did, in the end, get to her, I think. But Baylan knew his words there. Even though he kind of tried to coax Ahsoka to go with him and be with him, it was just such a powerful scene, and I think we really got some insight here, and this is what I was wanting from the show. We got some powerful insight here into what where Ahsoka's at mentally with everything that's happened. She's had an insane life up until this point, and we got to see a little bit of the emotional toll that is taking. I really love seeing her being such a skillful Jedi. She does have so much experience in a positive way, that she is an incredible fighter. But at the climax of this duel, I really do think she has this beautiful crack of emotion, which some could boil down to tapping into the dark side a little bit here. So think about the exact scene where Shin has shown up. In this moment, Ahsoka puts together that must mean Sabine is probably killed. Shin probably killed Sabine. That's what Ahsoka's assuming. And in that moment, she says her name, Sabine, and then Force throws her, thrashes her against that rock of the henge place. Ahsoka's moved things around and Force pushed people before, but this one was out of pure kind of an emotional reaction. You can hear it in her voice, and Rosario's delivery here was really fantastic. So a little idea here, and I wonder if this is going to tie into what we're about to talk about with the War Between Worlds. And, there's just a discussion of between light and dark and the use of that. And, Ahsoka isn't a Jedi right now. She hasn't been for a long, long time. But what part of the Force was she tapping into there when she was kind of lunging out in her emotion? I think this scene also calls back to a really interesting piece of dialogue we had in episode 3, where Ahsoka is explaining to Sabine things about the Force, and especially lunging out in the Force. Dark side, but more just an imbalance of feelings. She has that quote of, yes, your anger makes you powerful in the moment, but it ultimately unbalances you. That's not the exact quote, but that's it summed up. I think Ahsoka really actually exhibits that exact sentiment here that she kind of forgot to do herself. It was in this moment of emotional imbalance where Baylan actually could get a hand up in the fight, and it's in a few moments later that she falls off the cliff. The emotional intensity of the scene, especially with Sabine showing up as well, is very full on. And before we can even process the fact that Ahsoka's just fallen off like a massive cliff, Sabine is here and she is alive, and now she's talking to all, Shin and Baylan. Now, here's a scene that is really fascinating, and I love how it's written. It's a really fascinating conversation that Baylan and Sabine have here. Again, it's furthering my questions into what's Baylan's purpose? I know it's power, but what is it really? Because he really knows how to get under Sabine's skin. And the reason why he wants Sabine to come with him is really interesting. And did he think about this the whole time? But we do get a really interesting piece of information here as he drops the bombshell that she might still be a little bitter over Ahsoka and what's happened there and the tension that they have, because the rest of her family was was killed with destroyed with Mandalore. Is that dropping that Clan Ren is no more, and we got the brother, mother, and father is just gone? I think we'll probably get some more information about that, but if that is the case, that is incredibly sad. Those were really cool characters. I was kind of hoping they would show up in the show, to be honest. But come on, Baylan, he's putting the knife in there and twisting it. Whew, very good, very smart. Very interesting decision as well that she does choose to give Baylan the map back. I actually really thought in that scene that wasn't going to happen, but makes sense. And of course, she gets cuffed up and they head off to the big ring together, the Halo ring, and blast off into the next galaxy. From the first few episodes, I really did think one of our heroes was going to be on that ring when it jumped, but I'm glad it jumped. Things are moving, things are progressing. Hera did see it. That was really interesting that the Hera and the X-Wing pilots did come and check out what was happening and to help out and saw what had happened. So now it's going to be, that's an interesting plot point of them trying to prove to the rest of the New Republic, Mon Mothma and Senator Xiono and all the others, that this is going to be a threat. This is real. It is happening. There is bad things happening right now. I feel like people that haven't seen Rebels haven't really connected with the idea of Jason being kind of in the picture yet, but damn, did I really love that little nod that he's like, Mom, I've got a bad feeling. That is great. I mean, a great little Star Wars nod there. But also, I want to see that kid grow up and be a Jedi. I want to see what he does. Maybe, mentor, other guy, uncle, mentor Luke. Could maybe train him. Everything up until this point is shot beautifully and written perfectly. I have thoroughly enjoyed every step of this episode. I really thought we were wrapping up here, and Sabine is off, Ahsoka is somewhere, we'll see that next episode. Hera is gonna find Huyang, and that was kind of it for this episode. So for this beautiful scene to then, that shot of the ocean, to meld into the sparkles of the World Between Worlds was a shocking moment. Now, if you've watching this video right now, you've probably seen my reaction video as well. And my God, I just couldn't comprehend that something else was happening. This then, 15 seconds that happens. I think I had always dreamed of it looking exactly like this, it being exactly like this, it being introduced just like this. Anakin saying, "Hey, Snips." And to be honest, as a Star Wars fan and with the kinds of amount of media we have out now, there's very few times that our expectations are met. Now, not only met, but just happened and it happened in front of our eyes exactly how we want them. That is pretty rare because we're all very creative and have our subjective views. But this is almost like a vision, and I think this is for a lot of people too, just like a vision just taken straight out of our brains. And I do think that's because Filoni really understands the Star Wars fans' mind, and I think he really understood we want to see how this story unravels in this way, and we wanted to see this connection, and we wanted to see them interact and all those kinds of things, and he really understood how to put that together in the right way. The questions that come out of this meeting is just, there's a list. Oh my God, there's a list. How did she get there? Was there a portal? Is she unconscious? Did she actually kind of die in the real life, but this is her in the afterlife? I don't think it's that one. I don't think she's dead. Is this a forced premonition? And then we get all the conversations. It's like, is this the real Anakin? I think it is. Or is it the son? Is it a vision? Is it a force ghost? What is it? Who is this person right now? And what are we going to do here? This is such a phenomenal time to be a Star Wars fan, to sit in this theorizing and predicting and wanting and wishing. This is such a magical time because I've never seen the flurry of questions and thoughts that we've all had from this just 15 seconds. It is perfect. Hayden having a little bit of de-aging on his face, I don't really mind. I've said this before if you've been in any of my live shows, but if you've seen Yoda and how he looks in The War Between Worlds in Rebels, anyone can look anyway in A War Between Worlds in my book. And to me, it's Hayden. I've in my brain, that is Anakin. I don't really have any trouble kind of committing to the fact that that's that character. This easily is my first 10 out of 10 Star Wars TV show episode. I think there's been a lot of 9.5s, there's been a lot of 9s, but this really is truly my only 10 out of 10 episode. There is nothing in here I can fault. There's nothing in here I would want to change. The dialogue, the pacing, the combat, just the visuals of everything, the acting and the portrayal of everything is immaculate. The music as well, the music. Oh, I love this episode, and I know that this is going to be a moment in an episode that's going to just live in how everyone felt in this moment, seeing this episode for the first time for a long, long time. It's going to be 1, 2, 5, 10 years, and we'll be like, oh, remember when Anakin came back for the first time and live action met Ahsoka? That is going to be a moment that we are going to talk about for the rest of our lives. For a halfway point during this show, I think we've gone and covered a lot, but I think there's still so much to cover. I cannot wait for the end of this show. It's been an incredible journey so far, and it's just going to get even better. I cannot wait to break it down with you guys, so make sure you subscribe for more Star Wars community and entertainment, and as always, make sure you always choose the right side.